Urban Therapy with Sun 752. This is your daily go-getterism number 663 for July 27, 2016. Alright, today we're talking about supporting black businesses. Supporting black businesses. Buying black. Now, by now we should know that it's important to buy black. We should know that it's important for us to support our own people. I'm talking about black people supporting other black people. Now, some people get up in arms when you start talking about black supporting black. But when you think about it, it's really stupid. Now, for those who don't understand it, for people who don't understand our history, including many of us who don't understand our own history, they wonder why we have to single out black. You know, why can't we just be all-inclusive? Not really realizing that we've been forced to be all-inclusive all of our lives, and it hasn't gotten us anywhere. It hasn't done anything for us. It hasn't helped us to advance in any way, in any area of life at all, historically. You know, some people don't see it that way, though. I mean, when it really all comes down to it, it's like this. When we start talking about black businesses, black people have been disenfranchised as a people in this country for centuries. This country was built on racism. So there was a time in this country where we weren't allowed to learn how to read or count unless we were sanctioned and given permission by slave owners to be able to do that. So to come from that, see, a people that is denied access to education has to settle for the education of themselves to be passed down from generation to generation, folklore style. And what happens with that is that a lot of the true history gets gets lost in translation, and it also gets lost in perception. Lost in perception. You know, that's a major thing we have to think about, because the way a person reports things to you may not always be factually accurate. It may be the way that they saw it. So it's like when somebody sticks you up with a gun, puts a gun in your face, and you say, all I saw was this gun and it was this big. It was really just a pistol. But because your adrenaline is pumping so fast, you know, see, the smallest gun is going to seem large to you, and because you know your life is flashing before your eyes. So it's a crazy situation. But I'm saying all of that to say that we have to support black businesses, because it's the only way that we're going to be able to gain a sense of nationalism. And it is important that we gain a sense of nationalism in this country, because, you know, there is a hyphen that is attached to our name. Whether you choose to call yourself Black American or African American, whatever it is, you're not just a straight up American without any hyphen, which is pretty contradictory when you consider the fact that black people have been in this country before everybody else. We are the true Native Americans. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that black people are the true Native Americans of this country. It's not the American Indians. It's us, people who look like me. You know, and there are plenty of Native American Indians that look like me, but I'm telling you, the ones that you're thinking of are not the Aboriginal people of this country. We have a history that has been stolen from us. Now you're probably wondering, how does all of this factor into black business, son? This is our business. See, black business is not just financial; it's family business also. And we don't deal with family business enough. And part of our family business is our family history. The history of your bloodline is your business. And it's time that we get put on to what our true family business is, our true family history. So if you don't know, this is what you need to do, because this stuff wasn't taught to us in schools, and we're just coming into this knowledge, and we need to spread it throughout our people, because with a lost knowledge of self is a lost pride in self. And as you can see in this country, there is definitely a lost sense of pride amongst ourselves. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we are. And because of that, we act like something else. We act like a bunch of hooligans. We act like a bunch of hood rats, a bunch of savages. That's what it's like when you don't know where you come from. You might as well be a savage because you have a lost knowledge of yourself. So it's not that we weren't slaves before, because we were, and we did fight through that. But what's little known is that we weren't just slaves. We were here on this continent, North and South America and the Caribbean, when Christopher Columbus came over from Spain or Italy, wherever he came from. I mean, he was Spanish. His real name is Christopher Colon. I'm sorry. There's so much we need to go over, but look, we did a radio show this morning called The Hookup and Black Business, something like that. We were talking about how they tell us that we shouldn't ask for discounts or hookups or whatever when it comes to patronizing black businesses. Okay, I can understand a certain argument for that or against that. But the truth of the matter is, as far as black business is concerned, in order for any black financial businesses to stay afloat, they have to be able to compete. And for them to be able to compete, they have to be able to have a pricing system that is flexible. So, if we are not able, if a black business is not able to offer, flexibility and pricing to be able to compete with their competition, they can't expect to survive. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be mean about it, but anybody who goes into business understands the risks that are involved. Now, the patrons, us black patrons, customers, we have to do our part, and we have to tear down a lot of the conditioning that we have already received throughout our lifetime. And the conditioning that we have received our whole lives are buying from people who don't look like us. So when we see people who look like us, sometimes we get a little weary of it. We get a little leery of it. Like, hey, wait, what you doing? And we tend to think that the service that we receive from our people is substandard. We tend to believe that the products that are being sold by our people are of a lesser quality than the white man or somebody. We're not used to buying from ourselves. And I'm sugarcoating that. Because what really needs to be said is that our mental slavery makes us hate on each other for trying to do better and rise above. Like, who is that nigga? This shit ain't all that. I give him a play, but this shit better be all that. Yeah, you're right. His shit better be all that when you go into his store, his or her store, or whatever kind of business that they have. Yeah, they shit better be all of that. But what you have to remember with your black ass is that we've had to be all of that in every position in our work lives, all of our lives in this country. What we also have to remember is that the white man didn't have to be on top of his game. He didn't have to be that great. And a lot of black people don't believe that. They don't believe that there was a time, and that there is a time now, that the black man and black woman have to do more at their job to be recognized. That they have to go over and above the call of duty in order to get the same accolades and the same perks and the same financial advancements as their white counterparts, as if racism has somehow stalled. It still goes on because we still have the good old boy system. This is only part one of this video. Because we did part one of the radio show this morning, so we're gonna do part two tomorrow. But I just wanted to get my feet wet with y'all, let y'all know what time it is and what we're trying to do right now. I mean, the time really has come, and I know I jumped around a lot. the time really has come for us to wake up. You know, we're looking at this election right now with Hillary and Donald Trump, and we really believe that one candidate is going to do better for us than the other ones. As if any candidate, any presidential candidate ever has had black people's interests at heart. Even when those bullshitting Democrats talk about the black plight, they don't talk about black people themselves. What they talk about is poverty. Poverty. And I'm gonna put y'all on to something that y'all might have forgot before we get up out of here. Remember in the 2008 presidential election when it was looking like President Obama might actually be the first black president, and a lot of white people were feeling some kind of way about that. Even the liberal white people was like, hey, wait a minute now, I don't know about this. So they had a little buzzword that they used to justify them not voting for President Obama. And what that buzzword was, or should I say code word? The code word was inexperience. He's not experienced. I would vote for him, but he doesn't have any experience. We need to have somebody in there with experience. So John McCain was supposed to be the more experienced candidate. Experienced meant white. He didn't have enough white in him. You don't believe that? Think about back what the knock on President Obama was in 2008. You notice they couldn't use that in 2012. They couldn't do the inexperienced thing. He already knocked that down. Once you break down them doors, it's a wrap. By the way, nobody has experience being a president of the United States except for maybe a vice president. So if a vice president is not running, nobody has experience. John McCain was a senator just like President Obama was. John McCain was a senator of Arizona. President Obama was senator of Illinois. So fast forward to 2016, 8 years later. Now, there are no black candidates, so we don't have to worry about that. They got a new code word. People who want to vote for Donald Trump, as ridiculous as it seems, the code word to say that I like Donald Trump because he's white and he'll restore white people to prominence, the new code word is businessman. I like him because he's a businessman. He's a businessman. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. Think about what that business is. The business. Think about what most people who support Donald Trump and that foolishness, crazy shit that he's doing, look at what they say that they like about him. He's a businessman. Not a good politician, not a good man, not a free thinking man or a good thinking man or a solid thinker or any of the really decent synonyms that you could think of to describe somebody that you would want to be your leader. They don't even say that he's a good leader. He's a businessman. In other words, he's a white man that will restore this country to white prominence. That's the way it used to be. And that's what he's running on. You hear what he says? Take our country back, just like the Tea Party always says. He's a businessman. We went from inexperience to business. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, the business is white. It is what it is. Support black businesses, buy black. 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 And check out the Urban Therapy with Sun show tonight, 8:30 p.m. We're talking about submission and concession. To concede or to submit. Y'all already know what it is. I don't even know if y'all have enough time to be able to check it out. It don't matter. Buy black. Buy black. Buy black. Businessman. Buy black. Businessman.